My name is Kelly Sotherton and I'm the team leader for the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, and I'd like to welcome you to England Athletics Regional Awards, where we'll be celebrating our sport and also the amazing volunteers across every role. I just want to say a really big good luck to everybody today, and I hope whether you're recognised or not, we all recognise how much effort you put into our sport to make it work. And more so this year, how difficult it's been with how the world has been with COVID-19. And we are truly thankful, and we obviously hope, it all gets better going forward from now. But please keep going. We need you, I need you, and hopefully we can have a great year over the next couple of years, even into 22 and every Olympics thereafter. And good luck, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Evening. It's lovely to see you all. A big thank you to Kelly for opening this year's events. A warm welcome to the London Regional Volunteer Awards. And I'm Ellie Brown, the London Regional Chair, and I will be hosting this evening. I'm sure you've noticed behind me my attempts to bring a little bit of the Oscars to this evening's celebrations. However, my daughter tells me my office looks a little less Hollywood and a more Amsterdam brothel, so apologies for that. A couple of housekeeping reminders to those here on Zoom. Please set your screen to speaker view, and please mute yourself until you're ready to speak. Feel free to use the emotion emojis and chat button at the bottom right of your screen to show your appreciation. For those on YouTube, sit back, grab a glass of something and enjoy. I've got a little something here, and I know I will. Please use the comment function to congratulate our winners and runners-up. Toilets can be found wherever you left them last, and in case of fire, to your front doors. Finally, please bear with us if there are any technical hitches or time delays. The Volunteer Awards evening is one of the highlights of our year. It gives those involved in our sport, club members, coaches, officials, volunteers, an opportunity to champion dedication, commitment, and selflessness. Volunteering takes on many different guises, all invaluable in providing a bedrock to the grassroots of our sport, working towards a common goal in making our sport the best it can be. 2020 has been a challenging year, and even in these exceptional circumstances, it has been heartwarming and encouraging to see how many clubs, groups, members have come together to stay connected and to support each other, from virtual races to podcasts to the old-fashioned picking up the phone and checking on a friend. The nominations this year have been truly inspirational, and a huge thank you to everyone who nominated a volunteer. Tonight, we celebrate not only our winners and runners-up, but all our volunteers. And to present our awards this evening, we have 9 wonderful people who too give back to the sport we love. So without any more from me, let's move on to the real stars of this evening. Our first award this evening, Athletics and Running at Home, is a new award for 2020. And presenting this award is Ben Node. Ben is a member of the London Council and a Highgate Harrier, where he is the current Vice President. He's been involved in many roles within the sport, from ex-junior and senior GB runner to club coach and official, competition organiser and South London athletics coordinator. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ellie. I'm very happy to be presenting the Athletics and Running at Home Award. I very much like to think on the London Council that I represent the youth side, although Mark Person may disagree with that. We're really honouring some inspirational and innovative people in this award, especially, as Ellie alluded to, in the last few months, we've all been living in various stages of lockdown. I know that every club, no matter what the size, needs one or two of their membership to step up on occasion and make something happen, even if it means sacrificing their own racing training and, most importantly, time. This has been especially true over these last few months, but these three inspirational people have gone over and beyond to bring together members of their athletic clubs and provide much needed social interaction and positivity. So for the runner-up of this award for athletics and running at home goes to Amelia Petit of Kent AC. Let me tell you a little bit of what Amelia has been doing over the last few months. Amelia, along with Dan Petit, not related, set up a weekly podcast during the lockdown, interviewing club members from across the club, rounding up local athletics news and picking topical stories to discuss. This has created a real buzz and has kept members in touch with what's going on in the club socially, competitively, and given them something to listen to on those isolation runs and training. This brilliant idea, covering interviews with members across the club, both young and old, fast and not so fast, plus covering a wide range of topics, including women talking about training just after giving birth and many other topics that are not always discussed on podcasts for regular club athletes. Before handing over this award, virtually, of course, I would just like to read out this tribute from one of your club mates at Kent AC, which I think nicely sums up the real value you have provided over these last few months. Kent AC are a close-knit club. Tuesday nights are a hive of activity at Ladywell Track and the local pubs afterwards. So when the social circle was broken through lockdown, Dan and Amelia put their heads together and decided to do a podcast. Yes, there's tons of running podcasts out there, but this one was for members, and it was a huge success. There's now been a whopping 27 episodes throughout the lockdown period, interviewing a wide range of club heroes from all the training groups, keeping the whole club entertained. Weekly updates have often brought us brilliant news, and lonely listeners have felt very much like they've been sat with Dan and Amelia on their sofa while they interview with their soft, friendly, and inquisitive style. It has kept the community together and has been a welcome relief from the endless WhatsApp groups. We've learned a lot about Amelia, what she bakes, orders, and when she goes to bed. And special thanks to Amelia for continuing through a tough patch of injury. We are all glad to hear that she is now able to run again. Well done, Amelia, and congratulations. If you're there, I'd love to ask you a couple of quick questions.
I'm online.
How did you come up with the idea of the podcast at the beginning of lockdown?
Yeah, we were actually on a run, me and Dan, with one of my friends from the running club, and this was just at the start of lockdown before we were able to meet people at this time. Just only, I think we had to social distance, and I said to my friend on the run, I said, wouldn't it be great if we could have a podcast if we can't speak to you? And it kind of went from there. We thought, we'll give it a go, and yeah, well, Dan did a lot of work with the technical side of things, and we've got it going, and we've kept it going, and people are keen to keep it going even after lockdown because they're quite enjoying it.
Oh, brilliant. Did you have a favourite? I know it's hard with club mates, but did you have a favourite interviewee from the podcast or episode?
I think it'd probably be our coach Pete, because we miss seeing him every week. You can go out for a run with your friends, but because you can't be coached directly at the moment that easily and have the group atmosphere, I think being able to speak to Pete about the past experiences that he's had at the club, and the background that we didn't know about. I'd never really had those kind of conversations. You kind of talk about when you're at training, you talk about the session, and that's kind of it, and you more talk about how you're feeling and how you're getting on at the session. But it was really nice to speak to our coach Pete and just ask him about his background into running and his experience at the club and how the club's grown, and it went down really well with all of the listeners. I think they really enjoyed that one.
Oh, fantastic. Well done. Well, I know I live in Ladywell and my children go to school. So there's lots of Kent AC members at the local primary school. And I would often hear about the podcast. I'd say hello to the runners as they've just after they drop their kids off. So you provided a very useful service. Well done and congratulations on your award tonight.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So that leaves me on to the winners of this award. And it's two people for this award. And not only is it two people winning this award, we're often a competitive bunch in the athletics world. And it is two people from rival clubs that came together to create something truly wonderful. The winners are Steve Gardner and Angus Butler from Belgrave Harriers and Herne Hill Harriers. Angus is the Herne Hill Harriers men's cross-country and road running team captain, and Steve Gardner, as well as being Belgrave's men's cross-country and road running team captain, is a top-class runner that's transformed the clothing section and has also used his computer and marketing skills to revamp the club's website and social media. Both Angus and Steve are already working well in coercing their teammates during the regular winter season before lockdown began. Once lockdown began, though, in March, with race cancellations the norm, Angus and Steve were instrumental in encouraging his team to keep training, keep in touch with each other, and to help create new competitive opportunities. Steve, in particular, has been affected by the effects of long COVID. However, his loss has been athletics' gain. Angus and Steve were the main organisers of a virtual challenge match between Herne Hill and Belgrave Harriers. Over the weekend, that would have been the South of England Road Running Championships. Athletes took part in the first ever virtually distanced 12-stage road relay competition, where men ran solo 5K time trials over the weekend with their times and routes uploaded to Strava, with the 12 fastest times posted by each club added together to provide the team results. This was truly pioneering at the time, with no virtual club races had taken place, whereas now they're very much the norm. Jeff Jerwood, endurance coach at Herne Hill Harriers, it's been absolutely fantastic to see our clubs compete whilst also clearly showing a respect for the current situation. For those that aren't runners, it can be confusing to hear that running is a team sport. Add to that the more obvious cancellations of huge landmark races that runners spent months of their lives preparing for. It's clearly so important we try to retain some normality in our routines for physical and mental well-being. Angus and Steve have been instrumental in this. 2 weekends later saw the very first virtual National Road Relay Championships, for which the racing format had been pioneered by both Steve and Angus, which attracted club teams from around the country and set the tone for many contests later in the summer. They weren't done with this, though. When the conventional competition was able to return, with social distancing restrictions, Stephen, along with Angus, who had never organised a competition before, organised one of the first competition in South London, a 3,000 metre event at Battersea Park, with just 15 minutes between each race. Then in September, the first night of 1,500 metre races, just 8 minutes apart. Athletes were only allowed into the stadium for their race, having warmed up outside in the park and having their temperature checked by the first aid crew. Officials were kept to the absolute minimum, with just the starter, hand timekeeper and electronic timing. Instructions and race numbers were distributed at the gate. Although the races were open to club runners, Steve and Angus managed to attract an elite field in both races by liaising with coaches and using social media. And Steve also managed to organise a YouTube channel to show the races. So, without further ado, I'd like to virtually hand these awards to Steve and Angus. And if they don't mind, I'm just going to read a quick comment from the Belgrave committee and then ask you a few questions. Athletics badly needs people who get things done. Steve and Angus are just the people who do that. They are big players in keeping a good number of runners engaged, motivated, and in many cases improving during such difficult and unusual times. Their respective clubs are indeed indebted to the role they have played. Which is a lovely comment. Steve and Angus, if I can ask you a couple of quick questions. I won't put you on the spot.
Hello. Yes, hi.
Hello. I was just wondering, how did you get involved with the sport and what has led you to increase your involvement?
For me, I used to run a long time ago at school, and sort of, one of those things, you go to work and you start to have other priorities, and it became a passion I had when I was younger that I missed out on through just sort of the normal working life, and has become a complete addiction for me in the last few years. And being part of a club like Herne Hill with, coaches like Jeff, who've just been so instrumental to getting me and so many other people so engaged in what is, and fundamentally for me now, a team sport, has really sort of driven me to, want to get more and more involved in the sport. Yeah.
Oh, well done, well done. And what about you, Steve? How's got you involved in the sport and also in the organisation part of it?
For me, it was I was a very keen footballer who started doing a bit of running on the side to improve my football fitness, and then very quickly the football started getting in the way of the running, and I just kind of got taken by the good people of the athletics community and how kind of competitive but also supportive of each other we could all be, and especially kind of the group that gathers around Battersea Park. It's just a really good group of people, and we all encourage each other, and it kind of especially over lockdown, it really kind of showed how important it was that for most of the time it was just WhatsApp messages back and forth, but when we had an opportunity to bring people together in a slightly more formal setting, whether it's the kind of virtual race idea, or finally when we got back together at Battersea, it was kind of like a big family Christmas.
Fantastic. And one last question: do you have a highlight from any of the virtual competitions or the competitions at Battersea Park in the summer? Anything, a personal highlight?
Go on, Steve. I feel like you're itching.
I don't know. I just inhaled deeply, which suggested I did, but I'm not sure. It was I don't know. It was kind of it definitely opened our eyes to the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes. We've usually just run in them, and then you finish running, then you go home, and you don't really appreciate how much volunteer effort and official effort is involved. But also there was a bit of a kind of high, like you get building up to a competition of everything has to come off, otherwise you've wasted loads of people effort, not just yours. And so there was a really great buzz when it all did seem to go well, and just getting some thanks from some people was really nice as well. So this is amazing recognition. Thank you very much.
And just to add to that, for me, not only for our clubs, getting everyone to come together, and so many people. I mean, I can't remember how many had, nearly 100 races by the time we got to the night of 1500, but also to convince some absolute, top talent in the UK to come down and basically showcase in front of our clubs who've been, deprived of racing for 6 months. Yeah, that was just truly amazing for me.
I can tell you guys, you provided a lot of enjoyment and competition opportunities, which was, you were the pioneers, not only with the virtual racing, but you were the first people to get a competition off the ground in South London. So this award is richly deserved. Well done, guys. Well done.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
While the whole country wondered what would happen next and what was possible, Steve decided what would happen next and what was possible. He gave his team a chance to race in the UK's first virtual mob match against Herne Hill, which we won. He organised a COVID-safe night of 3,000 metre track racing in Battersea Park in August, and then gathered some of the country's most prestigious middle distance runners on that same track a month later for a night of 1,500 metre racing. That last event was even enough to motivate double Olympians Ryan and Genevieve Gregson to join the club, which is pretty incredible. In brief, I think Steve's unique skill is that he can revolutionize and innovate while conserving what truly matters. He doesn't let himself get weighed down by useless traditions or trivia, but he always finds a way to preserve our sport's most essential values.
Thank you, Ben, and huge congratulations there to Amelia, Steve and Angus. Some great innovation and, supporting runners, putting on virtual races, amazing. So thank you for that. So our next award of the evening is our Leader of the Year award, and to present this award is Adrian Day. Adrian is a London Council member Also, he's a member of Haringey and Enfield AC. He's a Vets AC member too, a GB Master Sprinter, and a Blue Peter badge holder, I think. Lovely to see you, Adrian.
Thanks, Ellie. Thank you very much. So I'm delighted to be given this opportunity to introduce this particular award. Leader of the Year recognises an individual who has demonstrated their passion and commitment for leading within athletics and running. And the nominees, of course, have done it this year through one of the most challenging years in recent times. So the runner-up for Leader of the Year is Gary Taylor of Dash for Fitness. Dash for Fitness is a Ruislip-based family venture founded by Gary and Susie Taylor. And Gary's a coach in running fitness, and he also coaches at Hillingdon Athletics. So here's what his nominators said. From providing expert coaching, including warm-ups and post-run stretching, to training tips and techniques, Gary supports all members with advice tailored to the individual needs. He takes the time to listen to and get to know all the members. He practices an holistic approach to running and engages the whole person, not just the runner within us. He cares about our physical well-being, but also recognises the importance of our mental health. He supports, cajoles, motivates, encourages straight talks simply because he cares about the person first and then the runner. At the end of March, of course, when first lockdown happened, Gary ensured the transition from actual to virtual runs was seamless, and his coaching was accessible and free to all via social media. Every week, Gary provides a summary of individual achievements, news and updates, and advertises new challenges and events, keeping everyone on their toes, motivated and interested.
Adrian, I think we're going to ask Gary. Oh, excellent. Here's Gary. Brilliant.
Indeed. Hello, Gary. And Gary's on mute. Hi, Gary. Sorry, you're on mute there. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations on being runner-up for Leader of the Year.
Thank you.
Just 2 or 3 questions. Clearly, by the words from your nominators, you're very inspiring. What in turn inspires you to be a leader?
I think initially it was people, and it still is people. I used to run on the streets on my own, and I used to see other people running on their own. And I also knew there was a bit more to running than just putting on your running gear and heading out the door and getting cracking.
Yeah.
So I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to try and get people together in a more of a social and supportive environment?
Sure.
And be able to provide some sort of guidance and knowledge on tap and leadership.
Lovely. Good answer. And what do you enjoy most about being a running leader?
Sorry, Adrian, what was that?
So what do you enjoy most about being a running leader?
That's easy. That's seeing the enjoyment on people's face and the joy on their face when they achieve something that they didn't think was possible, whether that's getting fitter or going faster or going further, or just being part of an amazingly supportive and motivational group.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. And final question, just briefly, how did you approach the COVID lockdown? What was sort of on your mind and your brief plan?
Okay, briefly. So I saw that I had an opportunity as a leader of a group of people to make a difference to people's lives at a time when isolation and loss of purpose was something that could happen. And basically, I decided to try and turn the running group into a virtual running community, to make it more of a community, and find a way of giving people a sense of belonging still and motivation still. So we did lots of things like virtual Monday night runs and challenges and medal events, virtual masterclasses and virtual socials. And I think we're probably going to come out of this as a stronger group and a stronger set of individuals, and definitely more of a community than we went into it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, and congratulations again on your runner-up position.
Thank you very much.
So now we come to the winner of the Leader of the Year, and the winner is Jane von Vorochoti of the Run Higher Collective. So Jane is one of 3 founders of the Run Higher Collective. It's a community of runners in London who came together during the pandemic virtually, especially for the pandemic in effect, with the idea to move forward in the future from the pandemic to meet in person. So Jane and the other coaches work together to create programs for runners of all abilities that are inclusive and fun. And she supports her other running colleagues with their own goals to take on the challenge of coaching on the side of their training. So encouraging other people to coach, which is always good to see. Let's hear what some of her nominators said. Jane is selfless, and from the moment you join the club, she becomes your own personal champion and biggest supporter. Jane consistently goes above and beyond to improve you and celebrates the little wins with you as though you just won an Olympic medal. Jane herself and her attitude to coaching is special. She is dedicated to providing a platform for people from all walks of life to improve their running. She's a community builder and an inspiration, passionate about her role as a coach and makes time for everyone. In the midst of a pandemic, Jane gave birth to her firstborn in May, but her work continued. And a final comment from one of her nominators. Coach Jane has really made running alive come alive for me in the last 18 months. I was a complete beginner before I met her. It's fair to say that prior to this, my view of running and runners in general was just something that elite people do, never something that someone relatively unfit or overweight could do. Jane never gave me that impression and has instead helped me grow my confidence through my next 4 races. My progress as an athlete would not be possible if it wasn't for her. And I think we've got a short video. Fantastic video. Hello, Jane.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
This is Parker. He decided to stay up for the awards, apparently.
Oh, fantastic. So this was the May delivery.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So good to meet you both, and congratulations on your win. So I was reading some of the background about you. You ran in the 2016 Olympic Marathon in Rio, I gather. And I guess everyone would be just interested to hear what your greatest memories are from that experience.
I think it was one of the races that I'll never forget in terms of it was a celebration of all the people who helped me get there, basically. I mean, it was from the club coaches when I was in the US to, training partners to just, my husband, everyone. It was a race that I actually wasn't nervous at the start line. I really enjoyed it. It was ridiculously hot, but from everything that I learned from my coach when I was younger to a point where I achieved that, made that happen. So I just ran with all those people kind of with me. So yeah.
Fantastic. And the next question really, what inspires you to be a leader? You've clearly inspired a lot of people. What inspires you?
I'm inspired by every one of my athletes that I've had and I've coached. From the very first coach that I had, who spent time when I didn't have money to coach me for free. I think that's what I live by. I mean, I do this for free, basically, Run Higher Collective. I created it because the community needed it. And to see someone just succeed in a personal best, or to feel like they're part of a group. And I think that's the best part of COVID-19. I think I've gotten to know so many people. That's what inspires me to lead. And, especially being able to achieve the Olympic, dream, and puts me on a platform. And I think it, if you live by their rules, not the rules, but their motto, it's, you've achieved this status. So what can you do with it? People know who you are. So can you help the community and lead by that?
Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you for that. Lovely answer. And the final question, what do you enjoy most about being a running leader?
Recently, I enjoy actually being creating this team is creating an opportunity where I can coach and also be a mother at the same time. And also being able to influence the next generation, I think, in what I do, and just how I lead, and, in my Instagram or anything that I put out there. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well done again. Congratulations. And I see you'll have to get the new recruit running soon.
Yes, but thank you so much for having this. I think, this brings so much. Everyone here that's been nominated did a fantastic job, and I'm so excited to hopefully be able to learn more about everyone else who's been out here too, and hopefully all collaborate to do something greater.
Fantastic. Well said. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now back to you, Ellie, I think.
Yes, back to me. Back to you. Thank you, Adrian. And thank you to inspirational leaders. Congratulations there to Gary and Jane. I mean, fantastic. Absolutely wonderful work that you're doing out there. Our next award is our Run Together Group of the Year award. And present this award is Lorna Booth, MBE. I'm sure Lorna needs no introduction, but however, I will tell you a little bit about Lorna. She's a double Olympian and a former British record holder for 100-meter hurdles, as well as a Commonwealth Games holder and a silver medalist. Wow. She's a former GB team manager, which included Sydney Olympics. She's a former London Regional Council member, and we served on the council together, and now an elected executive director of England Athletics. Congratulations, Lorna. She received her MBE for Sports Coaching Administration. It gives me great pleasure to have Lorna here to present this award.
Thank you very much, Ellie. It's a great honour to be able to be with you guys tonight to present these awards. The award we're going to present tonight is to recognise the Run Together group that provides friendly, supportive and welcoming group running opportunities in their community. The runners-up for this award is Causden Runners. So Causden Runners was formed by Louise Owen, the running clubs in Causden, Surrey, which welcomes runners of all abilities and ages. It fosters an environment that everyone encourages and supports each other, and has become a very important community activity. It is a club that is welcoming, encourages, and is supportive and inclusive. It has created opportunities to meet new people and form everlasting friendships. So Louise's mantra is run your own race, as each member is of a different ability, pace, and age. So social media has been used to encourage the members, and especially in through these challenging times. And each group within the club has a Facebook page, which they all use to keep in touch, support and encourage each other and have fun. Louise is a great inspiration and has set weekly goals and games for the members to achieve. And being part of this club has helped the members to build their confidence and has provided a safe space to relieve stress, improve mental health and well-being. And one of the members of the team has sent in a statement for Louise, and it says, "I feel so lucky to be part of a great running club. I started from beginners and have now run a few marathons, weekly 5Ks and occasionally 10Ks. I would not be able to achieve this without being a part of Coulsdon Runners Club." Hello, Louise.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We've just got a few questions for you. First of all, congratulations on this. What I wanted to ask you today was, what challenges have you had to face during this second lockdown? I know it's the in question at the moment, but just be interested to see what you've got to say.
Well, we've been doing the same as we did before. We've been doing online challenges, encouraging people to meet with one person from outside of their household to run. Every week I set them strength challenges, I set them running challenges as well. Was fortunate to get 4 beginners groups to all finish their 8-week beginners course and all complete their 5K runs literally just before lockdown. The last one's finished on the Wednesday before the lockdown on Thursday. So all of those beginners we've managed to keep running, and I've been doing online coaching with them through like an improvers course and setting them 3 run goals every week. And we've also had a charity challenge where a charity that I ran the marathon for, I had some medals with a number 12 on for children with cancer. So everybody had to do a 12 challenge, whether that be 12 runs in the 12 or in the 4-week lockdown, whether that be 12 hills, 12 days continuous running, anything they wanted. And that's kept a lot of people running and getting them out there in the lockdown.
It's a lot harder, isn't it, on lockdown than it is face-to-face, isn't it? Do you not find that?
Yeah, much harder. And a lot of people don't want to go out running by themselves, especially when it's dark and it's cold. So meeting as a group does make you get out. So that's why we're trying to encourage online, as well as, meeting with one other person if you can, but trying to encourage them online to get out and keep running for these next just a couple more weeks, and hopefully we can all be running together again.
So what inspired you to start the club up though? Did you realise it would be such hard work?
No, I didn't think it'd be such hard work. There wasn't anything really like it. We aim really at beginners, people who worry that they can't run to the end of their road, and those are the people we want to get out running. And I primarily started offering 8-week beginners courses and literally getting them from no running to, at the end of the 8 weeks, they run 5K continuously in whatever time that takes them. Doesn't matter if it takes an hour, but we get them running 5K continuously in that 8 weeks. And then it kind of progressed from there to, then people said, well, what do we do now? So then I did an improvers course, and then I did intermediates, and some weeks now I have 70, 90 runners out in various forms, in different courses, every beginners group is fully booked, and I have waiting lists for the next one starting in January. So we're very much, I don't care if you've never run before, I don't care how fast you are, what size you are, how old you are, we can get you running, and we do.
Thank you very much, Louise, for your contribution, and congratulations again to Coulsdon.
Thank you.
Well done. So we go on. We'll now go on to the winners of this category, and that's Dash for Fitness. So Dash for Fitness, again, we are going to speak to Gary Taylor. They pinched a bit of my bubble there because he was also the runner-up for the Leader Award. So all the questions I was going to ask has gone out the window. So I will just read a little bit of a citation. Gary Taylor is the lead, and he makes Dash for Fitness very special and important to many. The group is a community of people of all abilities and backgrounds and is unbelievably supportive, friendly, and inclusive. New members are welcomed, supported, and quickly integrated into the group. There are a large number of regular members, but also lots of people who come when they can. They have regular social evenings organised by Gary when there are no social restrictions in place, which gives members a chance to catch up away from running. There's no hard competitiveness or one-upmanship within the group, so when someone achieves a PB, everyone celebrates and sends congratulations. The group is very aware of each other's well-being, and if someone goes quiet or is missing for a while, there's always a message checking on their well-being. Gary has an incredible ability to know each and every one of the group and instinctively knows when someone needs a little nudge, extra support, and he encourages others to do the same. Joining a running group is a nervous first step to take. So out of a lot of people's comfort zone, for the Dash for Fitness community, make it very special. And I've got a quote here from one of the nominators, which is quite touching. And it says, "I speak for the whole group that the care and support shown to each is second to none. The combination of peer support, non-competitiveness, and overall friendliness keeps everyone coming back every week. It would have been the easiest option during the current COVID pandemic for the group to disperse. In fact, the opposite is true. The group has grown closer and stronger with virtual runs and group challenges." I think Gary had mentioned those in his other interview. The seamless transition from actual runs to virtual runs has proved to be an invaluable lifeline when lockdown came into force. Running may have brought us together, but the group has created friendships and camaraderie, introducing people who maybe wouldn't have met under other circumstances. We've continued to motivate, check in with others, and care. I'm certain that I would not have coped well mentally and physically with the constraints of lockdown without Dash for Fitness. And we have a video now.
Hi, I'm a member of Dash for Fitness community. It is set up by our coach, Gary Taylor. So we are a group with different levels of physical fitness. There are ultra runners to people who are just starting out their 5K. Everyone is welcome. There's a lot of support and encouragement in the group, and we all strive to achieve our next level of fitness. I would also like to add that the virtual challenges that was organized by Gary got us through our last lockdown with perfect mental and physical health. Thanks, Gary.
So when I'm asked what brings me back to Dash week after week, I think it really is about all the people that go to Dash and really have made this a running community. I think that we just show that we do care about each other, that we have great friendships and camaraderie, but ultimately all through our love of running and the fact that we want to get out there and still pound those pavements and trail runs or whatever floats our boat. But I think it's really about how we share that joy of running, and that it's such a welcoming and friendly group.
In my opinion, Dash for Fitness is the very embodiment of the spirit of Run Together. It's fun, all-inclusive. There's something for everyone, whatever their level. Membership of Dash for Fitness has this ripple effect, reaching out into the community on so many different levels. It's drawing in others at grassroots level, be it Dash's children, mums, dads, other family members, friends. Everyone gets roped in, and the family of Dashers is growing steadily. Dashers challenge themselves to go out there, register for races, events, and quite often raising money for charity in the process. They go faster, further than they ever believed possible of themselves.
Well done. Are we going to see Gary?
You can see me.
Oh, there you are. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Brilliant.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
My first question is going to be so Dash for Fitness is not just about running, is it? What other supports do you provide for your team members?
I mean, it's what I said, I guess, in my interview before about being a community. It's running is what holds us all together, but support that everyone gives to everyone else about all aspects of their lives, and everyone takes an interest in everyone else and checks that they're all right. And we come together doing running, but we also do yoga, we do Pilates, we do walking, we do everything that also supports that running. And people have, as they said in the video, I think all the videos pretty much say anything I could say. They just say that how people support one another and made some great friendships out of the group itself.
So, I mean, it's very important in this time, though, isn't it, to have a community that you can actually go back to and speak to and just communicate, because it is really difficult not to be able to move out and about as you please.
Yeah, I think I can honestly say that I don't think anyone in the group felt on their own at any time. They all felt that it could be easily done. You could have felt isolated, but because we had various ways of keeping in contact with each other's, the usual social media type things, but also the socials themselves helped. And yeah, when people get opportunity to go out with one person and exercise, people were doing that as well, pairing up, buddying up. So people just pulled together. And also when people went quiet, it was always noticeable that someone in the group would pick up and listen to why that person's getting quiet and bring them back into the fold.
So how many members do you have?
Well, it's difficult to say actually how many members. There's probably into three figures in terms of the overall community. But we regularly have 50 people doing the virtual runs, for example. And it can be people from all over the country. The good thing about the virtual things that we've learned is that you can actually reintegrate people in the group that previously have left because they've gone to other places to live. So we've got people, for example, from Cornwall, from Brighton within the group. We've even got people running virtually in Pakistan. So we've got a worldwide community of dashers now.
Gosh, that's pretty big, isn't it?
Can't get much bigger, really.
Well, I'm not going to ask you any more questions because you've answered some of them on the leader. So it's just congratulations again on your award to Dash, and I think it's over to you, Ellie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well done, everyone.
Oh, there I am. Oh, here I am. Well done. Excellent, Gary. And thank you, Louise. And well done to the Coulsdon Runner and the Dashers. I love the name, the Dashers. What a fantastic name. So for the next award, we have our Athletics or Running Club of the Year. And to present this award is Donna Fraser. And Donna, like Lorna, needs very little introduction. She's a former sprinter who competed at 4 consecutive Olympic Games for Great Britain. She's the UK Athletics Equality, Diversity and Engagement Lead, and she's the Domestic Athletics Operations Manager. So Donna, fantastic you could join us on this award. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Good evening, everyone. As always, I'm absolutely over the moon to be here. Obviously, we're not together, but to be celebrating great things that you're all doing within our sport, which we couldn't possibly do without you. So this award that I'm presenting tonight, the Athletics and Running Club of the Year, is extremely close to my heart. I think it's the heart of our sport in terms of the club delivery. So keep on doing what you're doing. Even if you're not a winner, we definitely salute you in the work that you're doing. So the Athletics or Running Club of the Year award, recognising both the achievements of a club as well as demonstrating ongoing commitment and passion through the opportunities they have given to everyone involved in the club over the last 12 months. So without further ado, the runner-up is, drumroll, Ruislip Running Club. Round of applause. Fantastic work. So just a little bit about the Ruislip Running Club. This is a club that provides a fun and welcoming environment with a family atmosphere, a club any newbie coming into running would want to join. Throughout the global pandemic, your club continued to stay connected with the membership, to stay motivated despite the circumstances, and demonstrated professionalism throughout the return to training process. The Ruislip Running Club clearly is an inclusive and diverse sport, and you should be extremely proud to receive this award. So I'd like to invite Nick Bamford to the stage, even though we haven't got a stage, just to have a little bit of a chat. So are you there, Nick?
Yeah, I'm here, Donna. Thank you very much.
Hi, Nick. Congratulations.
It's a pleasure and a pleasure to be here this evening. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Well, I did read your full nomination and I had to whittle it down to a little bit, and that was very difficult. So you're doing some great work. So just a couple of questions. What does this award mean for you to receive this award tonight?
Oh, it means everything. We're still like the new kids on the block in the area, and certainly works long hours making sure the setup and establishment within our community has been delivered, and looking at certain angles that we can benefit everyone. So like you said, is the inclusion and diversity is key throughout this process, and obviously having that opportunities created.
Fabulous. Excellent. And how have you done anything different through this global pandemic? I know we keep harping on about the pandemic, but obviously it's tested everyone in all shapes and sizes. So have you done anything different this year?
Oh, absolutely. It's really pulled us together in the running community, has brought all walks of life to the doors, and also included our existing members to come forward, help and assist, not only for their own purposes, but for everyone within the club. The volunteers who just come forward, as we all are, to make this happen and be able to deliver through these difficult times is what really motivated us, and to give an action plan that we can deliver week by week, knowing exactly some form of plan that gives that structure. And that's the thing. It's such a difficult time, not only physically and mentally, but to keep everyone engaged is certainly our priority.
Oh, amazing stuff. And just one final question. How will you celebrate once we're out of this mad world, as it were?
Well, I think, first of all, our members are certainly deserve the reward, because it's without them and without the committee and everyone coming together to ensure the delivery aspects, it's certainly going to be a great celebration, and not only for those around us for their birthdays and so forth, that we can come together as one.
Fantastic. Brilliant work. Well, congratulations again, and enjoy however you celebrate, whether it's virtual, when you get face to face. Congratulations.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you everyone this evening, and especially to our members. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful stuff. So on to our winner. So our winner for the Athletics and Running Club of the Year is Blackheath and Bromley. So round of applause for Blackheath and Bromley. So a little bit of an overview, and it says here 150 years that it's been in existence. So I haven't got 115 minutes literally to say what they're all about. So in a very bite-sized mode, the club has been in existence for 150 years and has evolved into a model club in our sport with robust structures in place. A key focus on building relationships with key stakeholders to ensure the sustainability of the club is evident. And the cohort of well-known athletes, and I couldn't name all of them, I'm sure you know who they are, at all levels and disciplines, is a testament to what the club offers and to its successes. Congratulations for being the recipient of the Club of the Year award, and I would like to show a video. So on that note, before I have the Q&As. Brilliant video. I enjoyed that. Could we do a rewind? That'd be great. But I know we're up against it with time. So can I invite Nick Corey to receive this award and ask a few questions, please?
Hi, Donna. Thank you very, very much. We are really honoured as a club. Thank you so much.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, amazing stuff. Now, Blackheath and Bromley, my goodness, you're going from strength to strength. And I remember speaking at one of your club dinners a few years back, and just that sense of community was just absolutely amazing. What is next for Blackheath and Bromley? Can you hear?
I'm really sorry I couldn't hear any of that, Donna, I'm afraid. I think you did mention the club dinner, and you were a great speaker at that, and I'm really sorry that we can't have one of those this year.
Oh, never mind. I'll just repeat the question. I was just saying your club. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Ah, brilliant. I was just saying your club's going from strength to strength. What is next for Blackheath and Bromley?
Well, I think what the pandemic has done for our club has prompted a lot of inward reflection and therefore a period of growth. And we've really grown as a community this year. It's really bound us together, young and old, far and wide. And we are, like everybody, I'm sure, exploring new ways of enjoying our sport together. And that's been a fantastic period of growth for us. And it's been great also to be able to reflect on the long history we have, but also, explore those connections that we have with clubs around us, both in the region, but also nationally. So we've really, really enjoyed this year for that.
Brilliant stuff. And we know you've got some famous members in your club, but it's not about hierarchy in your club, and I could absolutely sense that. So how do you manage just to keep everyone engaged and involved and being part of that family atmosphere?
We really have a very good community cohesion within the club, and that goes along a lot of levels. We've worked extremely hard on social media and connection virtually for everybody. We have a regular get together, if you like, on a Wednesday night, which has been happening for over 100 years at this club, and we've managed to continue that through the pandemic, and people have really rallied around that, but also really enjoyed the kind of ad hoc production that we have done as well. So that's really kept us all together very much as a club, looking out for each other. As I've heard, similar sentiments from other clubs, like the Dash Club, etc. I'm sure everyone is feeling the same kind of things in this pandemic.
Definitely. And just one final question. Fingers crossed we do get some competition up and running as we know it, as it were. What are you most looking forward to as a club in 2021?
Well, I think I'm a celebrity finishes before 2021, but obviously Holly's doing very, very well in that. But no, of course, the thing that we really are hopeful for and looking forward to are the Olympics, and hopefully they can be on next year. And if we have that, then hopefully that'll be a celebration for all of the sport. But it would be lovely to see Dina do very, very well at those championships. So that's something to look forward to if they can defeat this virus and get us all out there competing again.
Fantastic. Well, Nick, congratulations to you and the rest of the entire club at Blackheath and Bromley, and here's to another 150 years. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much, everybody, for this award. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
And over to you, Ellie.
Thank you, Donna, and many, many congratulations to Ruislip Running Club and Blackheath and Bromley, and thank you to Nick and Nick. I love the video too, actually, Donna. I really love the video. It's so upbeat, and I think it was put together by one of the Blackheath and Bromley athletes. So well done to you. We're going to take a short break from the awards now. time for you to just top up your glasses if you need to, but also it gives us a bit of an opportunity to bring together two renowned and respected GB internationals. This is a Q&A exclusive, so don't be too long topping up your glasses. We've got Lorna Booth and Dave Clark, both celebrated athletes from opposite ends of the track. It might not be Biden versus Trump, thank God. Thank God it's Biden versus Trump. However, it will give you an insight into life as a top-level competitor and ambassadors of our sport. So we'll hear how they got into the sport, what keeps them here, and I'm sure this will resonate with many of you. So thank you to Lorna and Dave.
Many thanks, Ellie. Would you like us to start talking to each other now?
Yeah, thank you, Ellie.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, I attack first, don't I, Lorna? And I was fascinated. We started this was it early this week? I can't remember now.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just intrigued because I didn't know as much about you then as I do now that I've downloaded all your stats and all the rest of it. But my first question was, I thought it'd be lovely for us to find out a little bit more about what got young Lorna Booth into athletics in the first place.
Wow, well, I started running from really early age. I mean, I ran around. I had boys. I grew up with loads of boys, and so I just needed to make sure that I was keeping up with them. So I just started running around from then. When I got to primary school, I was running at primary school. I got my first medal when I was 7. I used to run against all the girls and beat them, so they had me running with the boys, and we had Merton schools. So I was living in Mitcham. We had Merton schools, so we were all given medals, and it went through to, I was running 50 yards then, 60 yards. So that's when I started, way back then. But yeah, I come from a family of sportsmen, so it was in my genes. My mum used to chase me around the garden with a stick.
I noticed actually you're still 3rd on the all-time 50-meter hurdles rankings for this country, which is yeah, I've got all these stats here. It's quite interesting. In fact, you're 3rd at 50 meters hurdles indoors and outdoors. Not that I'm not sure many people do it anymore. Do they 50 meters?
No, well, I think that's because when I lived in the States for a little while, and I was competing in the States, so I think that's where the 50 meters come in, because they still did 50 meters. Yeah.
And so, how did you end up at a running club? Because it's all very well running for your school, isn't it? But I mean, it's quite a big step to finally make that move to a running club, or was that natural?
No, well, I mean, when I went to my secondary school, I had 2 really influential teachers. So I had Dorothy Tyler, who was the Olympic high jumper, and I had Jackie Fidgen, who was England netball player, and also she did a lot of stuff for Surrey schools. So Jackie Fidgen took me along to Mitcham AC, that it was then, and introduced me, and I started at the club when I was 11. So, but I also had training at school in the lunch breaks and after school, because I had 2 really good teachers.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually how important the teachers are in actually getting you, or making sure so many people do start at clubs, or recognizing your talent to a certain extent. But then how easy was it for you to get right to international level? I mean, to compete at 2 Olympic Games, was it?
Yeah, 2 Olympic Games. It was I mean, I was always inspired. So I had a very strong mother behind me and a very strong father, and they always told me that nothing is impossible. Yeah, whatever you want, fight for it, go and get it. So I always had that behind me. But then I had I had really good reasons that I wanted to be the best. I gave up music lessons for athletics. But no, I had some really good coaches along the way. I had Tom McNabb, I had Frank Dick, I had George Stratford. So and I went out and chose my coaches, looked for coaches that I felt were able to help me on my path, and I just stuck with them.
And which tracks were you training at then? Because you talk about Mitcham. Was there a track in Mitcham, or did you have to go?
Yeah, no. The only track we had in Mitcham was a dirt track that was 300 meters, but we trained at Carshalton, which is
Right.
now the David Weir Centre. So I trained up there. So I used to travel all the way there up until I was about 15, 16. And then I started doing Crystal Palace. So I used to travel, and I sometimes get home 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, because I'd take 3 buses to get to Crystal Palace. But when I decided I wanted to concentrate on hurdles, I started training with George Stratford. So I went along, and I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know if you've got time. Is that I went up and I wanted to do hurdles, and I saw Fred Housden, who used to coach David Hemery. And I went out and said, I'm looking for a hurdles coach. I'm pretty good. I want some help. And he turned around and said to me, I only coach good people. I was like, okay. And I just walked away, and I thought, I'll show you, mate. And I then went back. Someone said, well, try George Stratford. George Stratford said to me, my good people train on Tuesdays, you can come Thursdays and Sundays. And so I went, okay. So I did my 1 session a week with George, and soon I was, beating everybody. And he said to me, you can come Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. And he turned out to be the person that actually really changed my life in hurdles. So, my heart goes out to George always. He was one of the best. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question I bet you can answer. What was your first make of running spikes?
Adidas.
Oh, right. Very nice.
My first pair of spikes I had was my best friend, Jenny, who was a hurdler. She had a pair of spikes, and within a couple of months, they were too small for her, and they're practically brand new, and I bought them from her for £3. And that was my first pair of spikes.
And what's it like competing at the Olympics? Just how nervous did you get?
We weren't prepared for it, because that was my first major championships. I'd never been to another major championships, and it was daunting. It was the scariest thing in my life. I went out there, and suddenly there was these thousands and thousands of people. We weren't really. I was just getting to the games was the big feat. So it was like going to Disneyland, like being in fairyland, whereas everything's like a dream. It was really surreal. Yeah.
But did it help you? Did it prepare you for the Commonwealth much more easily? I mean, you got a Commonwealth gold and a Commonwealth silver, haven't you?
It changed me, because I then realised, actually, if I can get here, I can get further on. I can do better. I can be up there and get a medal. And so my whole outlook changed. I was training twice a week. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and training. And then I used to go to work. Come home from work, go to training, go to bed 8 o'clock. So it just totally changed my life.
Were you quite tired in those days at 8 o'clock?
Well, no, I was pretty exhausted after training, but I was just going to sleep. There was TV wasn't that great anyway. We had 4 channels, I think, didn't we then? Was it 4, maybe 5 channels? So, there was.
And it was black and white, wasn't it?
And it was black and white. No, we had colour. We had colour
right.
by the time I got, yeah. So let me ask you some questions.
I thought I was going to get away with that.
I realised that. So, because you went to the World Championships in '83, same as I did.
So did you, yeah.
Yeah. And so, what did you think about it? How did you feel being at the first World Championships there?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it was a pinnacle, I suppose, of my athletics career. In that I came in. I never really believed I was that good as an athlete, and slowly it was my coach. I mean, I joined a club only because my younger brother kept nagging me to join the club, and I kept putting it off. And I said, if I made the English schools cross country in this year, 1976, it was, I think, I said I'll join a club. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I did make the English schools, and then I had to join the club. I finished second in a Surrey's cross country and went to the pub that night and got attacked by 2 chaps who said, you should have won that race. Why did you only finish second? And I said, well, the bloke was far better than me. There's no way I could have beaten that person. Anyway, I've got a coach. So one of them, John Sullivan, who was my coach throughout my athletic career, said, well, I'll coach you. And it was just incredible. I slowly but surely, it set me targets, and I beat those targets and won races, and I did better. I was always more comfortable on the country, but for me, the winter was there to get faster for the track. The track was there to get faster for the winter, and somehow I don't know how I ended up, because I always thought of anyone who can run some 4 minutes for the mile was amazing. But then, to a certain extent, there were so many good runners of my era, because I was from the era of just behind Dave Bedford, Brendan Foster, Nick Rose. I mean, there were just so many, Mike McLeod, all these people who were just amazing distance runners. And there were just so many good role models that you just had to get faster, because if you didn't, you're going to get buried. And then I discovered that I could make a world championships. Again, you were talking about fitting running in and working in. I never expected to do as well as I did. I always worked full time as a teacher, and I was predominantly a PE teacher. And I suppose the difference for me was that running cross country, 9-mile races or world championships at 7.5 miles, you're used to being tired all the time. 5,000 meters on the track when you're working full time. It's hard work. It's hard work being really fresh when you're taking on so many incredibly talented athletes who, many of them were not working full time. But it was just fun. I loved it. I mean, athletics was just great fun, because you just kept setting targets yourself, and sometimes you succeeded, sometimes you didn't.
Do you know that I started off as cross country? Do you know I did 6 English schools at cross country?
I bet you were dead fast in the first and the last bit. What was your top position then?
I think I was in the Surrey schools. I was 2nd and 3rd in Surrey's, and I've got medals for road relays and stuff, because I was one of the key people in our Mitcham AC's relay squad.
You were like the Muritz Yifter of women's cross country racing.
Yeah, but I used it for track though. Like you were using track to get ready for country, I was using country to get ready for track.
Yeah. So why did you stop competing?
Too old. No, you get to a point where you know when it's time, don't you? You know when it's time to stop. When you start not winning everything and you feel that it's a chore, then you know it's time to stop. Yeah.
Yeah. And was it easy to get into coaching? Was it a natural route? I mean, many people just drop out of that stage, or used to.
No, not at all. I mean, I was never going to be a coach. Not on this earth was I going to be a coach. I was going to do admin. I found myself in admin through when I got made redundant and I worked for the IAAF. That's how I got into the administrative side of it. And I just potted along doing that. And then my son wanted to start running. And so I went along and just watched him. I found him a coach and just sat and watched like a mother. And pretended I knew nothing about the sport and just sat and watched and just babysat. And then I got pulled in. So that's why I started. It was my son that made me, because I thought, I could do better than that. And I just felt that I needed to steer him and be supportive. And that's how I got into it, basically. So.
And it's become a lifetime activity, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you coach, don't you?
Very little. I don't. My finger's in so many pies that I do some coaching at school. I don't do coaching yet at the club, in that I just haven't got time, believe it or not. Yeah. One day, as Ben's sitting there, one day I should do more coaching with the club. Only 2 and a bit years till I can retire. Then I've got time to do that.
Is it that you want to help people though, isn't it? Coaching is like you want to give something because there's something you feel that you can offer, and you just try to help others to make it better.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that like me in some ways, when I stopped competing, I also picked up team managing, and I do think the one thing I loved about team managing, certainly cross country, and I was lucky enough to do in Great Britain track and field under 20s, was you've gained over your years, you've gained so much experience. And in some ways, you talked about going to the first Olympics and how frightening that was. And then when you get a chance as a team manager, you get a chance to stay involved with top level athletics, which is brilliant. But you know all those people. But also you give them a chance to say, right, my job now is to make sure that you never have to be exactly as frightened as I was when I went to some of my first competitions. And it's being able to get the best out of people, isn't it? And that's the same with coaching, I suppose. But Yeah, you just want to make sure people have as much fun out of the sport as you have had.
Thanks very much, Dave.
We better shut up, haven't we?
I think our time's up. Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you, Lorna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave and Lorna. Really, I could have listened to you all evening. I could have just sat back with a glass of champagne and just listened to your stories. But actually, it's not about you tonight. It's about our volunteers. And as Dave Purser put on the little chat here, Lorna and Dave, best duo since Morecambe and Wise. Thanks for that, Mark. And actually, my first spikes were Reeboks. I think you'll all remember your first spikes. I remember them really, really well. So thank you for that. Anyway, let's move on to the awards. This is why we're here, to celebrate our volunteers. And the next award is Coach of the Year. And to present this award is Tony Gagnon. Tony is a regional council member, a long jump and triple jump coach, coaching secretary with Belgrave Harriers, as well as having committee input at Sutton District AC. Over to you, Tony. We can't hear you, Tony. We can't hear you. There we go. It's only the first one of the night. That's pretty good going, actually. We got you there.
Sorry about that. I was just about to say, I've probably been a bit stunned by the previous double act, which was quite an act to follow. It's quite a coincidence. David actually taught my son many, many years ago, and one of his colleagues got him into triple jump. So it's amazing how it all goes round, really. This award is for recognising an individual who's demonstrated their passion and commitment for coaching within athletics and running. In addition, the award is to highlight special qualities, demonstrating inspiration and encouragement to athletes, passion for our sport, plus support to athletes and coaches everywhere. As a coach myself, I'm delighted to be asked to present this award, and I would like to thank the nominators for their excellent selections. As we said earlier, unfortunately, awards will have to be presented at a later date to be organised by England Athletics. The runner-up in this category has been coaching for nearly 30 years. He started in 1992 and coaches middle distance up to marathon. I'm informed that he encourages other athletes to join his sessions, which has helped to enrich the group. He works very well with other coaches to benefit his athletes and allows newly qualified coaches to work alongside him to develop their skills. I understand that he's also a track judge. And it's David Liston is the runner-up from Blackett and Romney. Congratulations, David.
Hello, Tony. Thank you very much.
Well done, David. Pleasure to meet you. Just a few questions. How did you get into the sport originally?
Like a lot of parents, I guess, I was stood on the rails watching my kids, and a coach at the track, Andy Frankish, said, "Why don't you go on a coaching course?" Mm-hmm. Which was duly arranged, and sort of 30 years later, here we are.
Which is great. I mean, it happens to a lot of people, but the sport definitely needs this type of thing to happen, and it's just a continuing thing. What's your most rewarding experiences over the years?
Probably things like when parents have said to me that coming to training for their children has diverted them from things like street gangs, things like that, kept them on the straight and narrow. Or another parent quite recently told me that his boy felt more committed to his education because the youngsters he's talking to at the track are talking about GCSEs, A-levels, and it sort of inspired him again to get his head down, do his homework, and get some better results at school. So that's the rewarding part for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can identify that because, I mean, over the years, I've had some athletes that have gone on to higher education and done extremely well in life in general, as well as the sport. So I can understand that rewarding. But I understand you're looking to take a backward step.
Unfortunately, yes. I have some health problems. I'm shielding at the moment because I'm clinically vulnerable. But also cold weather causes me a lot of problems with my breathing. So it means that I can't coach trackside anymore. Well, I could in the summer, but when when temperatures get down to about 10 degrees, I then start to suffer.
Okay.
So we've had to call it a day.
I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, maybe it's a role for you indoors. I mean,
very possibly, yes.
There's the indoor track at Sutton, so it's not too far.
Yeah.
Anyway, many
I am coaching a
David.
couple of athletes remotely, so that is keeping my hand in a little bit.
Okay. Well, anyway, many congratulations. Is there anything
Thank you very much.
to add, or
say again? Sorry.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No. I just want to thank everybody that I've ever been involved with in coaching, through the club, through the county, through leagues. I've met some really nice people, some really good friends, and I hope to stay in touch with them as long as I can.
Okay. Thank you, David. I wish you all the best.
Cheers,
for the
Tony.
future. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So moving on, the winner is a jumps coach. He's a life member of Surrey County and Enfield and Haringey Club. He actually started in athletics with Mitcham AC. He has represented GB in England at international level, and you would have probably read some of his articles in Athletics Weekly and various other magazines over the years. I've shared facilities at Sutton on many occasions with him. He's very knowledgeable, and with the restrictions of COVID-19, has excelled himself in mentoring, coaching, and inspiring a large group of athletes, juniors and seniors. He has great social media skills, which has allowed him to become known globally. His YouTube channel now has 20,000 followers, and Instagram 11,000 plus. And his name is John Shepherd. Congratulations, John.
We just have a quick video to play first, Tony.
Okay, thank you.
John's been coaching me for about 5 years now. He picked me up when I was about 12, and almost everything I know has come from him. So literally anything about triple jump or long jump or even sprints, like John knows absolutely everything, and he's helped me develop into the athlete that I am now.
Thanks, John, for all your hard work over the summer and the season, especially motivating me and our group to keep training and working hard, and for all your support at competitions, helping me achieve my PBs and helping correct my technique. It's really appreciated. Thank you.
John is an amazing coach. He always keeps us positive and grounded, and especially during lockdown, he has been very helpful, giving us something to do every day, keeping us strong. So thank you very much.
John, well done.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
It says you're on mute, but it's echoing.
I know. What about now?
We can hear you, John. We can hear
okay,
you.
Great.
Tony, you're on mute now.
Okay, that's all good. Okay, fine. How you doing, John? Okay?
Yeah, not too bad. I've just recovered from coming back from Barn Elms.
Okay.
And in the
I
dark.
like the video. I think that was really well done, put together by some of your team, without you knowing.
Maybe I should hire them to help me make mine.
No, it was really good. How many sessions are you doing a week at the moment?
Well, sometimes 3 a day because of the one-to-one basis of the sessions we have to do now. 15 maybe over 5 days.
Okay. How many? What's the sort of split between juniors and seniors in your group now?
I coach about. This is going to sound. I coach about 30 people. But the majority are aged between 15 and 26, 27. There's a few masters thrown in and a few younger people as well.
Okay. And how's your YouTube channel developed over the years?
Well, I started it really because it was a way for me to look at the videos that we coaches take when we're at training sessions. And often we take them and never really look at them again after a session. So I thought, well, if I do a YouTube channel, I'm going to have to really look at the videos to make sure what I put up is okay or makes sense. And I guess that's how it started. And I never expected, 2.5 years later, to have that 21,000 people watching my videos, which makes for some big training sessions. But it's helped me as a coach to develop. And it's enabled me to interact with other coaches and learn more from other people and from other athletes, and indeed see athletes from all over the world jumping into sand, really, whether you're in a big facility in America or a homemade pit in India. So it's very inspiring as well. And it shows that athletics has such a big reach.
I think it's also very good to work with other coaches and just sharing your knowledge, isn't it? Or sharing your knowledge and their knowledge.
When I was a journalist, I used to write articles, and you have a byline, and of course you don't get recognised. Now I treat my videos in the same way sometimes. Well, I did initially as an article, thinking let me translate what I would write into video. Of course, I forgot that people would see me and recognise me. So there's a big difference. But yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, and it is to work with other coaches, as you were saying, and communicate with them. Yeah, it's definitely helped my coaching.
Okay. I think, what you've done, I've seen some of what you've done over the last 6 to 8 months in COVID situations. I think, as it said in the video, you've been very inspiring to the athletes, and many, many congratulations to you, and well done.
Thank you. Do you want me to say anything about the lockdown? Or
if you can do.
Well, it was a difficult time because we obviously had to when all our plans were torn up, and we had to find facilities or training parks and try to adapt our training sessions to what we could. So Sarah, our senior long jumper, was using Sainsbury's bags full of her books, and she's a medical student, to do her weight training in her room. So we came up with loads of ideas to try to keep people motivated, including some non-athletic challenges that involved a rugby ball. And Madison Hutton's family need to be singled out for beating England in the last World Cup as South Africans. But yeah, we did a lot of things to motivate through the lockdown using WhatsApp and the videos. And the athletes seemed to enjoy it. And in the truncated season that they had, most of them produced PBs, so it must have worked.
So it was a South African rugby ball?
Yeah, it's a sore point. Not many people are going to know what that means. So hopefully the next one will have England on it, not South Africa.
Okay, John. Thank you very much, and well done. Many, many congratulations.
Thank you, Tony, and many, many congratulations, John. It's great to hear how you were coaching over the last few months. Difficult for everybody, for coaches and for athletes, but you've done a fine job. And many, many congratulations to David, who's completely taken away my thunder, my Hollywood thunder, with his Hollywood thunder. Next time I need to dress the office, I think I'm going to get David to come around. Thank you both very much indeed, and thank you, Tony. So I'm going to move on to our next award, and our next award is Official of the Year. And to present our award, we have Mark Purser. Mark Purser is a London Council member, a known and respected starter. Blackheath and Bromley, congratulations, Vice President, and he's an athletics event organiser. So thank you, Mark.
That's great. Thank you, Ellie. Everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Say yes. Excellent. Okay, so Official of the Year. We are recognising an enthusiastic official who makes a brilliant contribution to athletics in a local area, club or region. And I'm sure most officials, like myself, we had a whole summer planned out this year. Every weekend, calendar's pretty full, as you probably know, from April to September. And then overnight, everything changed. And unlike athletes who did continue training, I assume most officials took a step back and remembered they had things like gardens and families, and that the house really does need decorating. But obviously, as a the summer progressed, competitions came back up, and as a region, we put on 41 competitions across London over the summer period, which was great. And the officials came back out in force and supported all those events as best they could, and they're all run in a very safe environment. And the athletes got some decent competition, which is what we were there for. So as usual, the list of nominations for this award is strong, and obviously everyone's a worthy winner. However, these are the top two. So our runner-up in this category this year is Tamsin James. Can we see Tamsin? I can't see Tamsin yet. Just a brief about Tamsin. Tamsin is a level 4 field official, and she's also a level 2 track judge who has officiated at over 100 events during the past year, which I assume may have been 2019, not 2020. And these events range from indoor mini-thons and school meetings to major championships and diamond leagues. In addition, she is a highly qualified photo finish operator, skilled in both operating meetings and sorting out any technical problems. As well as operating photo finish at Woodford home meetings, she regularly takes the club equipment to other venues, often operating it from the boot of her car. Her enthusiasm for officiating has led her to become a tutor and mentor to upcoming officials, and she has run courses to this end. So congratulations, Tamsin.
There you go. I'm unmuted.
Oh, you're unmuted, excellent. Okay. I can't actually see you. Actually, all I can see is Ellie, which I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
I am here though.
Tamsin is there, Mark. So
hello, Tam. I can see you, Tamsin. Hi. Right, Tamsin. So you're with Woodford.
Yes.
You are indeed. How did you start in officiating is the key question. And what are you doing to bring on officials in your club and recruit more?
It's entirely my then boyfriend, now husband's fault, because he was an athlete with Woodford Green, and he said, come along with me and we'll just go to a few events. And while I was there, a certain Simon Wright and Jackie Wright and Julie Ord came over and said, are you looking a bit bored? Yeah. Want to fancy coming and doing some shot? Okay. Never looked back. Once you get taken in by Woodford, that's it. You have the time of your life.
Job for life. It is, yeah.
And I'm now actually passing on the baton, and being a tutor, I'm starting to absorb all the people that I've started getting up to level 2. I keep contacting them going, oh, well, we've got this event going on at Woodford. Would you quite like to? Oh, we've got this at Chelmsford. I've got this at Lee Valley. And I think I've got some of my level 2s, about 5 or 6 meetings for the end of this year, post-COVID. So it has been a very busy end of the year, though a sort of lax beginning of the year, shall we say.
Exactly right. I was going to ask you, how did you keep yourself busy over the sort of April, May, June time?
I kind of invented virtual officiating. So on our officials WhatsApp group, I would tell them, right, it's Saturday. We're meant to be at a YDL lower. We've got a long jump at 11. We've got a pole vault at 1. And we've got a shot at 3. Who's doing what? And I'd assign jobs and I'd tell them, oh, you've got 8 turned up today. What are you doing with the pole? And just throw things at them. So people just keep an eye on their WhatsApp for the day. It just kept their minds ticking over. And it meant we're all in contact with each other.
That was great. Excellent. We didn't do any of that. Okay, so was that your highlight this year? What other highlights have you had this year?
I did enjoy going back when we started the LICCs. Thank you.
Yes, I saw you there.
And then I got to do both field and do the photo finish. And it was nice to be back. It just felt good. And
it was, they were good competitions, weren't they?
The athletes just felt so happy to be there. They didn't care that they had to come in 30 seconds before and go away 30 seconds before. They got to compete. And suddenly everyone was really grateful that they had officials turning up, which up to this point, they hadn't quite appreciated what we did for them.
And career highlights so far? You said you've been to the big meetings, the Diamond Leagues.
I would say probably the Diamond League I did at Birmingham last year, where I was on the long jump, and I had to advise the field referee that Trina Johnson-Thompson still hadn't done her final run through, and where all the press was standing at the far end of the long jump was where she actually needed to run. And if they didn't move in the next 20 seconds or so, they might get bowled over. And seeing them move in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and went,
Yeah, the big meetings are great, aren't they? But you say when you get the open competitions like the LICC, and just seeing everyone just grateful just to be competing. It was
and then the one with the little boys and girls, the sort of year 3 and 4, so already just starting, and you have to show them how to do the long jump and how to work out to run up, and then teach them to go out the end of the pit and come back round again. And then you see them again when they're about 14, 15, and they're competing in the YDLs.
Yeah.
And then you may see them again at the England Nationals, and you're like, I remember them when they were this height.
That's right. Yeah, you do feel like you've helped in their development some way, don't you, as an official?
It's nice to see that growth.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was good. Tamsin, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So we move on to our winner in this category for this year. And our winner is Mr. Steve Marshall. I can't see Steve on my screen. I assume he's there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm here. I think if I talk, I might come up next to you in a minute.
Oh, that's you, is it, Steve? Right,
it is. I'm in disguise.
Okay.
It's the lockdown effect. That's what I've been doing.
Right. Let me just read a bit about Steve, which I think Steve must have written himself, because it says, Steve is fantastic. He is highly knowledgeable, experienced and professional, but more than that, he is always willing to give us his time and share his expertise with those of us further down the chain. He is calm, thoughtful, and quick to realise the needs of others. He is incisive, astute, and fair, gets his points over with humour and good nature, and is prepared to be the critical friend we all need as we make our way on the officiating journey. He does a lot of mentoring to up-and-coming officials, and is always willing to give advice when asked, or make gentle suggestions to those who are not quite getting it right. An example, which I've been given, says, as a newly qualified level 3 who was given an opportunity at the World Cup in London, I was asked to be part of a discus team, but mainly as an extra body stroke athlete steward. I hadn't really been given much instruction and was sitting in the area, keeping an eye on the on the athletes. Steve quietly came over and showed me how I could be much more useful by coming to the outside of the track to watch athlete-coach communication. I then carried that through the rest of the competition and learned about the high end of international competition. Steve is always there at every level of meeting in a variety of roles. One of the very helpful things he does is with a website, which has so many useful pages to investigate when one wants to find something out. And in addition to all this, he's also a regular presenter at South of England conferences and the national conferences. So congratulations, Mr. Marshall.
Thank you very much there, Mark.
Good to see a brief video of you.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Goodness me.
In your younger days.
Congratulations on your nomination, Steve.
Oh.
Steve is one of those people without whom the sport would be far poorer. His encyclopedic knowledge makes him the person to go to with any queries or for help across a broad range of athletic disciplines, and his willingness to share his knowledge and experience is second to none. For me, one particular event, amongst many others I have to say, encapsulates the way in which he supports and challenges less experienced officials who are looking to work their way up the levels. At the World Cup in 2018, for which Steve was technical manager, I had been attached to a team for the women's javelin. Having simply been told to sit in the area in case anyone needed the loo, I was sitting there enjoying the competition and just minding my own business. Steve quietly crept up and asked what I was doing, so I told him. He very gently suggested that I could also be useful checking the athlete-coaches interaction out there in lane 8. So I moved and I learnt a lot, which I was then able to carry through to other events and competitions. I have huge respect for Steve and his consummate professionalism, plus his great sense of humour and decency. He is a fantastic role model, and I, for one, have benefited enormously over the last 4 years since I started my officiating journey. Good luck, Steve, and thank you.
Oh God, he's...
It was, I think, Sal last summer. We were working out how our team could actually do a long throw using an EDM with the experience we had. And Steen came forward and offered to help one of our young officials to learn how to use the EDM, which meant that we could deploy more experienced people out in the field. Steve was great and very patient, explained how to use the EDM, and gradually let our young official do more and more on his own. In the end, Steve stepped back and watched and just stepped in when there was any need for a bit of assistance. So our young official had a fantastic experience. So thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve, you're back in the room.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. So a couple of questions for you, Steve, if we can. You've been earmarked as a good mentor, bringing officials through. Do you remember who your mentor was when you first started? And when was that?
I guess it would be my PE teacher at secondary school, because he recognised, as I did, that although I loved my sport, I wasn't very good at it. So I would never go anywhere competitively. And I guess I was probably one of the youngest ever to get into administrating. So I started officiating sort of informally at school at around about the age of sort of 11 or 12. And it was him that sort of guided me and helped me see that it was really enjoyable. But I guess it's gone on since then, and there's a number of officials on here tonight who have helped me along the way as well, because we're always learning from each other, including that time at Crystal Palace, Mark, with a set of false start equipment. My first and ever time taking it around being the false start technician, whilst you guys just watched on. Yeah.
It is a bit of donkey work, isn't it? But,
it is indeed, yes.
Yeah, there's always some sucker in for that job.
Yeah, I knew I'd work that day.
Excellent. So you've been at the big meetings. Britain has been lucky enough to hold major championships over the last 10 years. So obviously, apart from being an athlete inside one of those big arenas on a big occasion, what's it like being an official at the World Championships and the Olympics? And you're in the same environment as the athletes, and you must get the same vibe from the crowd. How does that feel?
It was quite bizarre. My first big experience of it, or the biggest experience, I guess, was actually 2012. I was on Greg Weatherford's long jump at the sandpit there, and on Super Saturday, of course. 80,000 people in the crowd. For some reason, the long jump sandpit was in a dead zone, and it was deadly quiet. I could not believe when we came off that what had happened, because there'd been no noise at the sandpit. But listening back to it on television, it was very noisy, but not for us at the sandpit, which is not what I was expecting. So it kind of throws you a bit.
As you say, you've been there for some of the great occasions, Greg Weatherford's gold medal on Super Saturday, etc. And you were the man holding the white flag for Mondo Duplantis in Glasgow this year. So
yes.
As you see Mondo land on the mat with his world record, there's you, stern officiating face, with your white flag. So what's it like being up close and personal with that sort of vault in front of you? It's
wonderful in the sense, especially in something like the pole vault, it's coming, because it's gradually, the bar's gradually getting higher and higher. But equally well, being a bit of a showman, or aware of the showman showiness for athletics, knowing that when he cleared it, at some point the way the cameras work, they want to see the white flag. So at some point the camera is going to be on the flag that I'm holding. I might even be in the shot, so it better look good. I'm quite stunned that particular day. Came off the pole vault probably about 20 minutes later, by which time there were already 6 copies of that photograph on my phone from officials who'd been watching the competition from around the country, and had sent me just to let me know that apparently a world record had happened, and I'd been there apparently. It was good to see you brush your hair for that one. It was good. Of course, yes. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Okay, Steve, thanks very much. And I must say, just one more thing. I know when I look at sheets and the selections that we get through for athletics and things, I always know that if you're there on the technical team or leading the events, we know we're in safe hands. So well Thank
done.
You.
Good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you, Tamsin and Steve. Loving your stories of how you became officials, and I think it resonates with many of us. We went down to a track one day, someone said, will you rake a sandpit? And that's it, we're officials for life. So many congratulations to you both. So our next award this evening is the Young Volunteer of the Year, and to present this award is Anne Roden. Anne was our winner last year of Award for Services to Athletics and Running, and it's a pleasure to have Anne back with us this year to present this award. Anne is a former GB International Marathon runner, which I didn't know about that, Anne, which I'm embarrassed I didn't know that, and Secretary of the South London Harriers Junior Section and a coach. Welcome, Anne, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a great honour to be able to present this award. Being involved with junior athletics, it's really my life. And so without any more fuss, I'd like to advise that the runner-up for this award is Holly Platt of Blackheath and Bromley Harriers.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Holly. I'd just like to read a few things out about you. Holly has been the driving force behind the development of her club's social media activity across a range of platforms and has continued to devise, create and edit dynamic content on all channels. This has been increasingly vital during the lockdown period as many members relied on social media to keep in touch with club activities. Examples of her production talents are the popular live series in which notable club members, past and present, are interviewed live each week, and her lockdown running etiquette video, which was retweeted and reused by several organisations, both locally and nationally. Holly is also a valued competitor in the women's team, and also although a pole vaulter by preference, she is the utility player that all team managers long for, as she is quite able to compete successfully in sprints, long hurdles, steeplechase, triple jump and javelin, quite a range. She brings a sense of calm, enthusiasm and positivity to all her projects, and she's always willing to offer both her own ideas and assist in the development of others. And in addition to her role leading the social media team, which is so important at this time. It's a great pleasure to virtually present this award to Holly for her outstanding work and team ethic.
Thank you.
So I'd just like to ask you a couple of questions. You're obviously very talented in the social media field. How long have you been interested in this field, and how did you get involved with doing this for the club?
So we've been doing it as the club since I think December last year, and it kind of started from we went for the club Euros. We went to Portugal, and I did a kind of vlog thing for our group, but that was more just so that we had the memory of it. But then I was asked whether I'd be interested in maybe doing more of the social media stuff for the club itself, and it just it went from there. So we've now got we've got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube all under the same username of BB Harriers AC.
Oh, brilliant! And just moving on to your competitive instincts. Hopefully we're going to be back on track and field next year. So what will your goals be?
Pole vault, I'm aiming for hopefully to reach national standard, because I haven't been vaulting itself very long. Because I've done quite a few different events. Hadn't quite found the one I wanted to do yet.
All right, well, I'm sure you will. Anyway, thank you very much and well done, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Thanks.
And so now we come on to the winner, and the winner of the award is Sam Wintle. Sam has been volunteering as a coach at Woodford Green and Essex Ladies Wasps section for 7 years since he was a 15-year-old. The Wasps introduce 8 to 10-year-olds to athletics in a fun environment with the aim that they then progress to the main club. This year, Sam took on the leadership of this group following the sudden resignation of the previous leader. Now a student, not only has Sam continued to help at these sessions, but because the training sessions are on a Saturday morning, he shuns the opportunity to be distracted with the student activities on a Friday evening to ensure he is fully focused the next day. Since taking over the leadership of the sessions, Sam has shown great maturity in leading the group, including older coaches. He has also got other young people involved in helping with the coaching, and the 8 to 10-year-olds respond well to their enthusiastic approach. Sam has also improved the integration between the Wasps and the rest of the club by involving other club coaches to give sessions for particular events. Also, as parents witness his enthusiasm, they are stepping forward to get involved in coaching and volunteering for the club. As they reach student age, many young people are lost to our sport through other distractions. So Woodford are very lucky to have found such a dedicated young coach, and he is fully deserving of this award.
Sam has been running our Woodford Wasps section, that's the under 11s, for the past 2 years. During the current uncertain period of lockdowns and restricted training, there's been a large increase in the number of under 11s who've joined our club. Sam has successfully continued to run the section with the support of our young members group. Sam has a great rapport with the under 11s. His programme of training for the youngsters has helped develop many to full membership of the club. Many have gone on to compete at the under 13 level on the track, road and cross country.
Anne, can you see Sam? He's there with you. He's there with you, so he is there next to you. So just say hi to him.
Oh, hi, Sam.
Hi.
Okay. Just a couple of questions. With the COVID restrictions, what's been your biggest challenges over the last few months?
Definitely dealing with the influx that we've had recently. Before COVID, we'd have 20 athletes come along to each session, and recently, I don't know what it is that we've been doing differently. It started off as 40, 50, 60, and then recently we've had near 100 signed up for some of the sessions coming along. So trying to fit everyone in and keep everyone COVID safe has been a challenge, definitely. But yeah, definitely a worthwhile one.
Oh, well done. How do you think we can encourage more young athletes to get involved with and to volunteer for our clubs?
Recently, we've also struggled previously trying to get some of the younger athletes who still run to come along, because as you said earlier, I think there are a lot of people that can get put off with all the opportunities that become available to you as you get a little bit older. But we've started getting some young helpers to come along. So they're all athletes who are still running for the club between the age of sort of 15 and 18. And yeah, some of them I used to coach actually, and it's mad seeing them now when I remember them as 9 and they're now legally adults.
That must make you feel quite good then, that they're
I think old is the word, yeah.
Oh, well anyway, congratulations. It's very, very well received.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Many thanks, Anne, for coming back to present that award, and many congratulations to Holly and Sam. I think we'll all agree that athletics is in safe hands. So moving on to the next category, we've got 2 more categories left. And this category is our Volunteer of the Year. And to present this award is Nadia Williams. And Nadia is on the London Council. She joined Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers at the age of 10 and qualified for the 2006 Commonwealth Games, where she came home with a bronze medal in the triple jump. Nadia is currently 9th on the all-timers list outdoors and 7th on the all-timers list indoors. Hey, thank you, Nadia.
Thank you, Ellie. Sitting here, obviously, you know, watching all of you guys and the previous awards that have been presented so far, and I'm sitting here thinking, what a great opportunity that we've had to obviously recognise you guys at such a time. And I think what it's definitely done is shown how quickly you guys have quickly adapted to new roles in a JD that's not publicly out there for everyone. So a big thank you for that. So I'm delighted to present the award for the Volunteer of the Year. In a year where it's been all about volunteers, our sporting volunteers are no different. So I would personally like to say thank you for keeping our sport moving. The award recognises the efforts of a volunteer who is seen as invaluable within their club, local area or region. Our runner-up in this category is Billy Green of Ilford AC. Here's a few words that his nominators have said about him. So brace yourselves. Billy's role as a media officer has provided a fantastic facility on our club website and social media site. His reports, which are sent to all members and the local press, are vital in keeping our club going during these difficult times. Billy is also a run leader and could be seen every Tuesday night timing track sessions along with their club coaches. He has also instigated a beginner's evening during a lighter night at a local park on Wednesday evenings, which has proved to be really popular with the local people and many of the current club members joining as a result of enjoying Billy's sessions. Billy's greatest attribute is the time that he is willing to commit to all club members, regardless of their ability or background. He is always on hand to give friendly advice and encouragement, and still finds time to fit in some running of his own. Billy is a valued member of our club committee. His boundless enthusiasm rubs off on everyone. From organising timing of group track sessions to organising teams to attend functions at local athletic clubs and other social functions, Billy has also instigated a running group for local residents who would not normally be running. Despite recently being furloughed from work, Billy still continued to membership, where he has been driving one of their members to and from hospital for vital cancer treatment. He does this as part of a group of members who work on a rota, which Billy has also provided assistance in. Billy attends many local road races and all cross-country fixtures, taking pictures of all our athletes for the club website and local press reports. Cross-country fixtures in particular are a long day, and he makes sure that he sees all of the age groups from youngsters to seniors. He is the first to arrive and the last to leave. Truly inspirational. The list goes on, Billy. So here we go again, last paragraph. Billy is very popular and is always trying to get people involved in a positive way. His contributions to the committee meetings are always steered in the right direction. Billy has encouraged and organised members into marshalling duties at many runs and races for a local hospice and is never short of volunteers. A great sense of humour, Billy is a throwback to the days of let's just enjoy ourselves, do our best and see what happens. The athletics and sporting world is full of people like Billy who do things because of their love for their club and the interaction with its members, and we applaud them all. However, your nominators feel that you, Billy, are a one-off to your club, and they would not be the same club enjoying ever-improving success without you as a major part of that team. So well done and congratulations. Hey, Billy, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you and well done. It's fair to say that your club have not been short of words in terms of what to say about you and everything that you do for them and your local community. What does it mean to you to hear those comments from your club?
Oh, it's lovely to hear. I mean, I just feel that I chip in and help out, but you know, they obviously think I do a bit more. I just like to keep people involved, and like they said, I just like to keep things fun. Not everyone can be a great runner. We've got people at the club that compete at county level, compete at international level, but not everyone can be like that. So I like to make sure that everyone feels just as important as everyone else, however old you are, however young you are, whatever sex you are, that you're part of the club and you feel part of the club. And that's really what I try to do.
Never so more important at such a time as even more appreciated now than ever.
Thank you.
And in the list of all those achievements and recognition, how do you find the time for yourself, you know, as well as obviously fitting all of that in as well?
It's hard. Someone said to me once when I started taking up the coaching courses that your own running will suffer for it. And it did, but to an extent, I never had any aspirations to being a great athlete myself. So what I do enjoy is when people come along, especially to the beginners night that we have. And we've had plenty of people that have come along and they really come along because they want to do a park run without stopping. And, you know, years later, I see them competing at the Parliament Hill in the cross countries or in county levels or doing 10 milers, even doing marathons. And, you know, I just remember them coming along as someone that wanted to finish the park run. So I just get great pleasure from that.
Right. Thank you from me and thank you from everyone else as well this evening. We will find a way to get your award to you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone at Ilford.
Thank you. Moving on to our winner for this category, and that is Claire Ostrich from Blackheath and Bromley. Having a great evening, I think.
Hello, Jill.
So here's what your nominators have said about you, Claire. So Claire is embedded into the fabric of the Blackheath and Bromley community. A member of the Parents' Council and the House and Social Committee, her input to the committees is greatly informed from her experience as a carer and safeguarding lead in a school in Thornton Heath. These have equipped Claire with an awareness and empathy for members joining the club that can't always enjoy the luxury of unfettered access to the social aspects of the club due to the differing life chances they may have been dealt. While carrying out her volunteering, there are several other everyday things Claire gives her time to. She is an ever-present chaperone on trips away, such as the National Cross Country, relays and YDL final trips. She also acts as a team manager assistant for the junior women's team on these trips to Europe, while dual hatting with her guarding hat on. Claire carries out the critical role of safeguarding officer, which she carries out in an intelligent, informed, empathetic and non-judgmental manner. This is a huge role for the club, the size of Blackheath and Bromley, record keeping, reviewing the status of volunteers, coaches and officials for regulatory checks, reviewing and informing the members of enhancements, changes and amendments to guidance from governing bodies. Claire is an adept and committed fundraiser. She has clever ideas for raising funds which are executed in a sensitive and engaging way, gathering in prizes from local businesses for raffles, organising kit sales, looking out for clothes rails in charity shops that can be used to display the items. Claire has begun training with a view to becoming an official. Such is her love of the sport and the community surrounding our local club. Claire is a valued officer of the club and a vice president since 2000. Claire can always be found at the club with a big welcoming smile on her face. Her love for the club and passion for athletics is clear, and she encourages anyone that shows an interest in volunteering without putting on any pressure. Claire is reassuring, understanding, and always extends a helping hand. She even goes on to organise social evenings for the young people missing a lot right now. A worthy winner of the Volunteer of the Year award. So well done and congratulations to you, Claire.
Wow. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. I'm waiting to see you.
Oh. Hello.
There you go. Thank you. How's your evening going so far?
It's going very well. Now I've got a bit emotional. That was very nice, lovely.
Thank you to the nominators. So I just have a couple of questions for you. Obviously, clearly evident there that you're a lady with many abilities. Can you share with us your passion comes from and why you invest so much time into the volunteering?
I started running at primary school and loved the sport. I met my husband at the track 30 odd years ago. My children compete. I've always loved working with children and being with children, and I just enjoy it. To me, it's not volunteering, it's my hobby. And I've got lots of friends there, and I like helping the club and supporting it. It's just brilliant.
Don't get me emotional, Claire.
Oh, sorry.
I've done well up to now. And what would you say as your words of encouragement to others to volunteer?
Oh, it's just great fun. I've got lots of friends there. It's our social, down the club, down the track. It's our social event to see the kids, and especially recently, some of the opens since lockdown. Everybody just thoroughly enjoyed it, got involved. I think being outdoors and competing, and everybody training and keeping it together, well-being for your self-esteem. I think it's a great place to be, and I just enjoy it. And if I didn't go down, I wouldn't see my husband or my kids either. So we're all down there all the time. So yeah, it's a great place to be.
It is a great place to be, and I think those who were not aware of the place but that we hang out most nights of the week are now aware and have almost encroached on our space, but we welcome them. So thank you, and congratulations on your award this evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very honoured. Thank you.
Many
Hello,
congratulations, Claire, your video.
And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about why we have nominated Claire for Volunteer of the Year award. Claire has been a fantastic volunteer for the club over the last few years. She's officially our safeguarding officer, and she's done a lot of work in that area to improve our procedures and policy, to recruit an additional safeguarding officer, and also to raise awareness of safeguarding issues amongst our coaches, officials and other volunteers. In addition to her safeguarding duties, she's also a fantastic fundraiser for the club. She set up the youth club. She was also instrumental in setting up the Parents' Council, which has been a fantastic initiative to enable the club to raise funds and to organise social events. And she's also a member of our House and Social Committee, so she's been organising social events and running kit sales. And as I mentioned, a fantastic fundraiser for the club. She's done so much for us over the last few years that we felt that we had to nominate her for Volunteer of the Year award. So good luck, Claire, and hopefully you'll bring that award back so that we can all celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nadia, and many congratulations to Billy and Claire, two wonderful volunteers. And to our final, this is our final award of the evening, and is an award we leave until last as it recognises those volunteers who have given so much to our sport. The award is Services to Athletics and Running, and to present this award is Dave Clark. As you met Dave just earlier, he's a regional council member, a former international athlete for 17 years, a member of Hercules Wimbledon. I haven't had too much drink since 1976, and a 3 times national cross-country champion. And don't forget, he's an avid crisp lover.
Many thanks, Ellie. Okay, well, like all the others, I'm delighted to be given this opportunity to present this award. As a club chairman, I'm well aware that athletics clubs all over the country are indebted to a small number of incredibly dedicated people who give up hours of their time, often in pretty miserable conditions, to support their club's athletes of all ages and abilities. These people do not ask for any rewards. Their reward is watching their athletes enjoy the sport that they love and are committed to. For this award, I would like to pay tribute to 3 incredible people who have been members of their clubs for over 50 years, and in one case, over 70 years.
All of them joined athletics clubs in their youth, competed for them for many years before gradually moving to slightly less energetic but still incredibly valuable roles. The runner-up for the Services to Athletics and Running Award this year goes to John Baldwin of Blackheath and Bromley AC. If I tell you a little bit about John, John joined Blackheath and Bromley in 1955 and has been a member for an incredible 65 years. He was an outstanding athlete in his own right. In 1966, John won the Kent and South of the Thames cross-country championships. He finished 7th in the Southern and narrowly missed out on the selection for the international cross-country. He's held the club steeplechase record, been world M45 10K road champion, national M45 cross-country champion, Southern Counties 10,000 metre champion, and Kent Vets cross-country champion. Since 1970, John has also devoted much of his energy to supporting his club, holding every club office from president to coaching secretary, chair of development to cross-country team manager, to mention just a few. John qualified as a timekeeper and has served for many years both at the track, travelling the country with the senior and junior athletics teams, and in all weathers at cross-country fixtures. Before handing over the award, I'd just like to read out this tribute from your colleagues at the club. John, you are a role model and an inspiration. And from your fellow committee members, athletes, volunteers and supporters, we wish to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all that you have done. John Baldwin. Is John there?
Is John with us, Chris, tonight?
He is, but he's on mute and his camera's off. So
okay. Hi, John. Are you there? There you are. I can see you.
I can't see. Am I missing John?
I thought I could see him at the top. John, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I can't turn back to you.
Well, we'll move on, John. And then if we can get you, then we will. Shall we move on, Dave?
Yes, indeed. I think so. Okay. Obviously, I'd like to have asked John a few questions and found out a little bit more. But if I move on from John now, the next stage, of course, is to moving on to present the Winners' Award. This year, we've decided to present the Winners' Award to two fantastic supporters of Woodford Green and Essex Ladies Athletics Club, John Hobson and Don Blackett. Apparently, if I look at, just tell you a little bit about Keith first. Keith, unfortunately, is not able to be with us, but I'm just going to tell you a little about him. Keith Hobson was headhunted by Woodford Green Athletics Club in the 1950s when he was just a youth athlete. And he went on to represent his club at club and county level for over 25 years on the track, cross-country and at road running. However, it is as an administrator for the last 60 years that Keith has made such a significant contribution to athletics at both club and national level. Within the club, he has held a wide variety of roles from president to vice captain of the track and field team. Keith has been general secretary, treasurer, and for the last 20 years, team manager for the women's track and field team. If required, Keith would apparently also fill in any other committee posts when there was a gap. In addition to his other duties, in 1973, Keith was also made a life member of the club. On top of all this, Keith has served as a qualified field events judge and starter/marksman at club and county level. And he continues to support athletics as the finance officer for the National Athletics League. He's also assisted the Association of British Athletics Clubs. If I may just read out these words from his club committee. As a thank you message, we would like to say that we are eternally grateful for the service that Keith has given and still gives to the club and athletics. His happy demeanour and help to others has been a great benefit to the club over the years. Now, since Keith isn't here, but I was told by Keith's club president that Keith and Don are joined at the hip. I'll now move on to tell you a little bit about Don. Unlike Keith, the co-winner of the award, Don Blackett, is a comparative newcomer to the club, having only joined Woodford Green Athletic Club in 1967. Born in Northumberland in 1933, Don joined South Shields Harriers when he was demobbed from the RAF before moving down to the Softy South in the 60s and joining Woodford Green Athletics Club. John's main competitive loves were cross-country and road running. But like most keen athletes, he also represented the club regularly on the track as a middle-distance runner. Indeed, he is one of the few remaining Woodford Green club members who ran in the first ever Metropolitan Cross Country League in 1967. Don competed for the club until 1982 before dedicating his time to the club and indeed the sport's governing bodies. Amongst the positions that Don has held are club president, young members secretary, the club's cross-country. He's been the club's cross-country course setter for over 30 years, not to mention being the club's press officer. Together with many of his Woodford Green club members, he helped inspire the first international veterans meeting at Crystal Palace in 1972. Don's administrative skills have resulted in his serving on the Southern Counties Committee, on the British Athletics League's Finance Committee, and he was one of the club's representatives on the Redbridge Council Sports Committee for over 40 years. To cap it all, Don became a Grade 1 track and field official at club, county, major national and international meetings, participating in many training events for track and field officials to help them earn their qualifications. Many congratulations to both Don and Keith for winning the Services to Athletics and Running Award this year.
Good evening to everyone. I'm Kelsey McGall, the current club president for Woodford Green Athletic Club with Essex Ladies. The club is very honoured to find that 4 of our members have been nominated for awards at the England Athletics London Regional Awards this evening. Keith Hobson and Don Blackett have been shortlisted for the awards in the category of Services to Athletics. Keith and Don are life members of the club and have been past presidents. Keith joined the club in the 1950s, and after his competitive career was over, he became one of the club's main administrators over a number of years, filling many roles on the club committee. In addition to his work for the club, Keith has contributed at the national level in various capacities. He is currently the finance officer for the National Athletics League. Don joined the club in the 1960s, after he moved to London from the northeast. A tireless worker for the club and for the sport's governing bodies. He covered several jobs on the club committee for many years, and until recently was the club's cross-country course setter for all home matches. He became a top-grade field official. Many owe their start to becoming athletics officials because of the training and the incentives that Don gave them over time. Both are well deserving of the award, considering what they've put into our club and athletics in general. They also represent a host of other long-serving volunteers in clubs across the country. Without these volunteers, grassroots athletics would not survive.
Hopefully Don's going to be with us.
He is here. He just needs to unmute and turn his camera on.
Good evening.
Hello. Yes, hello.
Don Blackett here.
What's that say?
I'm more surprised,
She's on video.
but very grateful. But I joined Woodford Green in 1957, not 67. And I've spent my life along with Keith. We've always worked together, and there's never been any trouble in the club whatsoever whilst we were in charge. But we've had so many people who are more deserving who've done their bit in the past. These awards seem to be a recent almost invention, but they were never about in my day. But it's very pleasing to find that something of this description is done, because the people you're talking about, and a lot of the people you've been mentioning earlier on, have given their lives to the clubs.
And so have you.
That's my wife speaking. She knows, because I've had to leave her and be working on athletic business.
Bringing up 5 children.
Yes, of which 2 of my children made one of my greatest days when they were both Essex County pole vault winners in 1980, I think it is, when Essex celebrated the 100th Games. But it's been marvellous. I'm just getting old now, but it's keep working. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Can you hear me, Don?
Yes, I can.
Can I ask you just a couple of quick questions?
Yes, fire away.
Can I ask, and this is one of these ones when you're looking back, what on earth brought you into athletics in the first place, and why have you remained for so long?
Well, my initial reaction was our first concern was in 1948 Olympic Games in London. I lived on Tyneside, a long way from London, but I was taken by it, and I took it upon myself to organise a semi-athletic meeting between lads in the locality and lads just a bit further away. And I've always been very interested in the sport. And I did my most running in the Air Training Corps when I was 3rd in the Northumberland Cross Country Championships. And after coming out of the Royal Air Force, where I ran for the Royal Air Force station I was at, I wasn't a great one, in fact, just a decent club standard, but I did do 14:51 for 3 miles. Coming out of, in the Royal Air Force, I played football and ran at the same time. And when I was demobbed, my brother, who knew somebody in South Shields Harriers, we'd moved from Newcastle down to South Shields, and I joined a man who was running everything there was Joe Ralph. And I took to all road running and what have you. Then the Inland Revenue, for whom I worked, decided that we heard that the taxation system in Great Britain was on the verge of breaking down in London and Birmingham, and I, with all single people, got their marching orders, and I was one of those who landed in London. But I knew about David Jones and his name, 800 meter runner, Johnson, Derek Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And that attracted me to Woodford, and I felt at home from the minute I walked through the doors.
That's brilliant.
I won't take any more of your time up.
I was going to ask you one more question, if I may. Have you got one highlight? Is there one thing that you can remember of all your years of watching athletics? You say that was probably one of the greatest moments for me.
Apart from the performers, the greatest time was when Woodford Green Athletic Club won the British League for the first occasion. I've attended the British League meetings, all but 3 in which Woodford have been involved. And on those 3, 2 of them were in Scotland. And I've and during the course of that, I refereed as field referee in Edinburgh and down in Wales. And look, I'm sorry I've taken up more of your time, but many thanks for listening.
Well, can I finish by thanking all the officials who've helped out at the clubs over the years. Don and Keith, please do pass on my thanks to Keith. I'm sorry we couldn't actually speak to him. And also to John Baldwin. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to actually see you and have a chat with you. But many, many thanks for everything you've done over decades and decades and decades.
I remember you running.
And you must be really old then. Thanks, guys. And back to you, Ellie.
Thanks, Dave, for that. And, you know, many congratulations to Keith, Don and John. Don, we could have listened to you all night, all the stories, absolutely, and many congratulations. That's the last award of the evening. And before we hear from Dave Lodwick, Chair of the National Council, the London Council would like to recognise and thank a lifelong volunteer of our sport, Neelam Kandaboy. Neelam from Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers has unfortunately been unwell, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank Neelam and wish her all the best. Nadia Williams, a fellow Shaftesbury Barnet Harrier, would like to say a few words to recognise Neelam's commitment to her club and our sport.
Thank you, Ellie. Hopefully Neelam's watching. We know that Neelam will not be expecting this mention at all this evening, but when we heard her news, we London Regional Awards evening. Neelam Kandaboy joined Barnet Copthall Ladies AC in March 1983 at the age of 13. In 1986, Barnet Copthall Ladies and Shaftesbury Harriers joined forces and became Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers, making them a male and female club. Neelam joined as a sprinter and established herself as a regular team member in club teams. In fact, it was only just last year that we saw Neelam disappear from the club by 100 meters when she was in her senior ranks. Her commitment to our club has been evident throughout her 37 years of membership, not by just competing from an early age, but also by volunteering whenever and wherever help was needed. Needed to assist her own coach, and only she compete and coach for Shaftesbury, but she was also elected onto the club council and contributed positively in all areas. When the club received requests from under 10-year-olds to join, Neelam took the important role of the young athletes induction coach and guided them through the basics to find out where their talents really lay. Once she established that the youngster was committed to our sport, she would pass them on to the appropriate specialist coach. Many have gone on to represent the club in league competitions and to achieve medals in county events. Neelam soon realised that coaching was only part of the job of looking after these young athletes. So when the club Middlesex Young Athletes League, she took on the role of team manager. Her work and enthusiasm in this voluntary additional role was a great success, and she built up a tremendous team spirit, not only between the athletes, but also the parents, and encouraging them to come on board and help manage the club. Recently being diagnosed with cancer, and despite this, still remains positive, putting others before herself. So I, on behalf of Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers and the wider athletics and running family, want to thank you for all that you have done and for all the days that you have made brighter just by being you.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you very much. And Neelam, we wish you all the best. And this finishes the awards for this evening. We're now going to hear a little address from David and then back to me just to say good night.
I would like to send my congratulations to all our worthy winners, runners-up and nominees. I would also like to say a big thank you to all of you who took the time to nominate someone and show them how much you appreciate their dedication. As a volunteer myself, I know that we do it because we enjoy it, but never underestimate the power that even a simple thank you from an athlete or parent can have. Since the start of the pandemic, our sport has shown great resilience. From the EA staff going above and beyond to provide us with guidance and online content, to the club volunteers devising ingenious ways to keep their members feel connected and active. A lot has been written about the negative effect of lockdown and isolation on mental health, and I have no doubt that the efforts of our wonderful volunteers have made a massive difference to people's sense of well-being. Looking forward to next year, at the end of January, we'll be calling for people to put themselves forward to join our band of regional councillors. These people, who are active volunteers like you, play a vital role in advising the board, staff and other decision makers on the issues faced by the grassroots of the sport, and help to ensure that clubs, athletes and volunteers remain front and centre in everything that EA does.
So back to me. So thank you once again to all our volunteers, not only those here tonight, but to all volunteers who work tirelessly for their club. You are all winners. We couldn't finish the evening without mentioning the winners of Serve to Get Me Out of Here, Samo Farah from Humanistic Beagles, or was it going to be the winner, Holly Arnold, MBE from Javelin Throw from Blackett and Bromley? My money's on Shane Ritchie, but there we go. Anyway, finally, a huge thank you to Sarah Friday, Chris Mallender and all at EA for their help and support in putting on the awards, to Kelly Southerton and Dave Lodwick for the London Council, and especially our guest presenters, Anne Roden, Donna Fraser and Lorna Booth. Thank you to everybody for joining us on YouTube, for taking the time in your evening. I don't need to wish you all a safe journey home. I suppose there are some plus sides from a virtual event. So good night and take care.